In today's Leeds news, new update on Dallas injury, Summerville exit talks, international roundup, and Maric on Leeds United time. Morning folks, Wednesday the 27th of March with your Leeds United news. Jay here at The View, and there's a bit to get into, but we'll start off with the one a week. If you like the channel, if you want to help see it grow, you can press the like button or subscribe button on the video to give us a little bit of a boost. We're into the final couple of days before we get back to playing real football. Daniel Farke does have a press conference today. Won't be covering the press conference. As I say, there's lots of other channels that cover the press conference reviews. You can check them out if you want to. I'll stay in my lane on this one. So we'll crack on, we'll get into the news, and we'll start off with an injury update around Stuart Dallas. Stuart Dallas was working on behalf of the BBC yesterday for a Northern Ireland international game and was talking about his injury recovery, and basically what he's gone on to say is that he's had several setbacks in his recovery and has visited several specialists and consultants in an effort to try and get back to playing for Leeds United. Dallas said on a personal level he's doing okay, which is good to hear, but he's working towards getting back and playing for Leeds United before the end of this season. Dallas confirmed that it has been a frustrating couple of years for the player, and he said whatever happens, he is working to try and get back to play before the end of this season. He went on to talk about the fact that he's taking this day by day, and that he said there's no getting away from it. It's been a tough road back and a lonely road at times. Dallas finished off by saying that he knows he's out of contract at the end of the season, but one thing is for sure, he's not giving up and wants to stay at Leeds, but is taking it all one day at a time. It's a slightly more positive update from Dallas around the injury. I mean, he's looking at trying to get back within the next, 7-8 weeks, which means he might be closer than we thought he was, but fingers crossed for him. He did talk about the contract situation. We're still not sure what Leeds are going to do there. Are they going to extend the contract for the player for 12 months to give him a chance to get back? I suppose it would all depend if he can get back in full team training consistently before the end of the season. That might help the situation, but we'll have to keep an eye on that and wait and see what happens. Moving on, let's talk about Crescencio Summerville and his exit talks. Yesterday, it was Voteball International and Arne Slot talking about the player moving away from the club. Today it's a Team Talk exclusive, which probably means he's not going anywhere and will be a lifelong Leeds United player, but we'll get into this a little bit. According to Team Talk, Summerville is on a trajectory to be snapped up by an elite club this summer, and according to them, there is nothing that Daniel Farke could do to stop this from happening. The article claims that Summerville could leave Leeds United this summer for an estimated €40 million, about £38 million, and that Chelsea are the front runners and are interested in bringing the player in. The article says that although Summerville is happy at Leeds, Team Talk's sources suggest that there is a good chance he could leave for an elite club in the summer should an offer come in from one of them. What I would say about a Team Talk exclusive, and especially this kind of Team Talk exclusive, I go back to two in particular with Team Talk. There was the one just over a year and a half ago when they put out a huge exclusive saying QSI, the PSG owners, were in talks to buy Leeds United. That was redacted about 25 minutes after they put that exclusive out. I had to apologise that their source was incorrect and it wasn't actually happening. Then there was the exclusive at the start of this season where they said Patrick Vieira will be hired as Leeds United manager within the next 24 hours and Daniel Farke was hired instead. So they've not been fully accurate with their exclusives. They're hit and miss at best, Team Talk. This one as well uses languages around sources suggest, and there is a good chance that maybe the player will leave. It's a lot of middle ground stuff for me. Not a huge amount in this. The easy way to get rid of these rumours is to get promoted. These will all go away if Leeds are the Premier Division next season and competing at a decent level. So, yeah, I would be shocked to see that. As good as Chris Summerville is right now, Chelsea are not in a position to go spending crazy money on players. They have an FFP case potentially looming over them after spending over $500 million on players and potentially missing out on European football again this year, which would really put them in a tough position when it comes to profit and sustainability. But we'll keep an eye on it. There'll be lots of more talk about this. We said this a couple of weeks ago. As we get towards the end of the season, there's going to be a lot more talk about players leaving and contracts and everything else. So we'll keep an eye on that. Moving on, we'll do a quick international roundup from yesterday before we move into the final story around Rene Maric. Conor Roberts, Joe Roden and Dan James all played for Wales in their penalty defeat to Poland. Dan James, unfortunately for him, missing the final kick in that game that sees Wales miss out. Archie Gray, first start for the under-21s, came along with his first assist in a goal in the game, and also he scored last time out for the under-21s as well. Charlie Ireland scored for Northern Ireland under-21s in their 2-1 win against Serbia, his first international goal. Mateo Joseph came off the bench in the 88th minute to score the winner for Spain under-21s in their 1-0 win against Belgium. Willie Gnonto played 78 minutes for Italy's under-21s in their 1-1 draw with Turkey. He provided an assist in that and captained Italy in their previous game. Ilya Gruev played 45 minutes for Bulgaria in their 1-1 draw with Azerbaijan. And Glenn Kamara was an unused substitute for Finland in their 2-1 win over Estonia. Mixed fortunes for a lot of the Leeds players on international duty. Nice to see Kamara getting a bit of a rest this week. Although for the Wales quartet, extra time, not ideal. Not ideal. And Conor Roberts being taken off will look like a bit of a knock. We'll have to find out later on today with Daniel Farke if that knock will be an issue. There will be a match preview, by the way, later on, either tonight or tomorrow, and I keep an eye out for that. Myself and Stats will do that heading into the game on Friday night. Moving on, let's talk about the final story today and Rene Maric. And the former Leeds United assistant head coach has been speaking to Training Ground Guru recently and has been talking a bit about his time at Leeds United. Not the bit I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear about the relationship with him and Jesse Maric because it always looked a little bit fraught. But he has been talking about the size of the club, what they came into, what they dealt with, and the transfer situation at the club at the time as well. And what was interesting was Rene Maric backed Jesse Marsch's public claims that the statistics of the club were trending in a positive direction and didn't replicate where Leeds were sitting in the league. Jesse Marsch has talked an awful lot recently about the fact that Leeds statistics claimed that they were moving in a direction that would have seen them finish comfortably in mid-table. However, the league position was showing Leeds losing game after game after game and falling further and further down the league table. Maric has backed up this, basically saying that the XG that the club had was much higher than what the team were producing on the field. And he went on to say that the running stats and the sprinting numbers that the team had were amongst the top 3 in the Premier League. All of that, he reckoned, would have put Leeds in a position to actually move away from the issue that they were having at the time. I think I said at the exact time, Jesse Marsch and the backroom staff ran out of road. They just ran out of time. When they got to the Nottingham Forest game, that was it. That was the game they had to get something in. And when they lost that, it was just getting harder and harder. There was going to be a change made at that point. They needed to do more to knock that one away when they didn't. Maric also pointed out from a transfer perspective that Leeds were only one of 3 clubs that managed to have a positive net spend. Leicester and Manchester City also in that bracket. Leicester, who got relegated with us, and Manchester City, who won the title. It didn't work out particularly well for everybody. However, Maric went on to talk about his own time at the club, and he said the following: "It didn't work out. I can just talk about myself, and I'm quite honest. There are things in retrospect I would like to have done better. I did obviously try my best. I wasn't able to do that. In the end, after I got fired, I went to the next 2 games and was in the stand. I met with some great people there, and I still keep in touch with some of them." Maric went on to talk positively about the club in general, the stature of Leeds United, how big a club it is. He also went on to talk about how much he loves the fan base at the club and has made some really strong friends in and around Leeds. And he also went on to point out that it was refreshing to come into a club with a group of players who were very keen to work hard and do more work to help the team. He said it was very much a legacy that they inherited from the Marcelo Bielsa time. The players knowing how hard they worked under Bielsa. When they came in, the players had an expectation of hard work, so we're already in that mindset to go and do it. So he said it was refreshing to see that and be able to have players who wanted to do that as well. So it's a good one. Good to see. Interesting to see what Rene Maric has to think. I would like to have heard more about the relationships with the players. It did always seem like him and Jesse were never really on the same page. There was moments on the sideline where just looked like there was issues there. He was brought in as the assistant head coach before they then brought in the other assistant head coach shortly afterwards, which was an interesting one for me to see 2 assistant head coaches, but it didn't work out for them, unfortunately. Leeds moved on. We are where we are right now, and looking forward to the weekend's game, Friday night game, that will hopefully see Leeds get another 3 points and march on towards a promotion campaign. Nearly at the end. We're in the final straight now. We're into the sprint. Back, we'll see how the press conference goes today. Folks, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm back tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. Might be back tonight with a match day preview. Keep an eye out for that, and I'll talk to you then. See ya. Bye.